floating district. Now, when we looked at the blog post, we said, oh, this is going to be awful. Don't go here. Guess what? We had to, because the circle ended there, because it's in the corner of the map.
Yeah.
And guess what? We weren't wrong. I was wrong in that I did not emphatically enough state how bad of a POI this would be, though, because let me be super clear. This is the worst area in any BR map that's ever existed. There is so much water, and you can get underneath all the little catwalks.
You can get underneath all the buildings too. You can swim underneath the floating buildings
themselves. Yes, correct. Yeah.
So there's a whole lake underneath it. For ad-free episodes, as well as early access and bonus episodes, check out our Patreon. Free trials are available.
Activision devs do not play their own game.
3,000 devs can't figure out how to add a reconnect feature to a AAA title, I guess. I don't know.
Because Infinity Ward doesn't tell their consumers anything.
Yeah, I don't even know. Maybe that'll take some of the sweats away from Shoot House.
You can cope about that for sure.
Thanks for tweeting, at least. Thanks for doing more than Infinity Ward has done. They just keep tweeting about the soccer bundles in the store.
Things that are bad. We've got a couple words.
See, Shifty joined a new team. Him and Biffle are on the same team now. The first part you guys heard. Him, Biffle, and Sage. That'll be a cracked out team too.
There's a lot of Isaac I saw tweeted something too.
Isaac is dog shit trash, but yeah. Oh, this is public, huh? Isaac's fine.
We are live. Well, sort of. We're recording. Welcome, boys and girls, to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 335. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. Today, I'm joined by Tanner, as per usual.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Tanner,
man.
at the time you're listening to this, is going to be, I don't know, getting stung by a manta ray, if we're all lucky, if we all cross our fingers.
I don't think they can. Can they sting?
I don't know.
I don't think they can. Supposedly they're completely harmless. I don't think one could sting. Yeah, I'll probably, let's see, this goes live Saturday at noon. That's 9 a.m. in Zion, though, so.
Correct, yeah.
I'll probably still be in bed, but later that day I'll for sure be poolside, oceanside, sipping on some drinks. Dude, I'm bringing a cocktail shaker, I'm bringing a juicer, because it's like a condo basically we're staying at, so instead of paying, $18 for a drink.
That's smart.
Yeah, we're gonna make some batches of shit.
Damn, you have a cocktail mixer cup thing?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Got a couple of them. Yeah, I got that. I'm bringing a juicer. Pack some sugar to make some simple syrup. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Pretty cool.
Well, anyway, welcome to the show. So for those of you listening, we are pre-recording this. The date of the recording is the 14th. This is update day for season 4. Tanner and I just got off a couple of hours of Vondel Absolute Gaming. And what we are going to do for quite a few hours, actually, yeah. What we're going to do for this episode is, as we have discussed, we're going to go through the patch notes a little bit for season 4. And we are going to do a very abbreviated kind of patch notes coverage, which we normally would have done on our Thursday episode, which was Tuesday this week, which is why we didn't. And then we're going to get into the tried and true, the classic, the Saturday first impressions of the season. That is what is on the agenda today. So before we get into that, a couple of announcements. By the time you're hearing this, the Patreon bonus episode for this week will be live. The Vondel Brainstorm. That will be going live on Friday morning at 3 a.m. Pacific time, or 2 a.m. Pacific time, actually. So you'll have that for work going into Friday. If you are a patron, that episode is now live when you're hearing this. And if you're not a patron, reminder, free trials for the month of June on the Patreon for the gold and platinum tiers. 7 days, you get all the back catalog for free, and you get early access to the public eps, you get ad-free episodes, etc. And it's the best way to support the Absolute program, of course. So that's announcement number 1. Announcement number 2, our Damascus Hangout is going to be Friday the 23rd at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We may or may not do customs. We will see. Hopefully they work. so that it's an option. Who knows?
Yeah, I wonder
It
if
is
they'll
in
work.
fact the new season, so no one knows really. But we might fuck around and do something like that. Customs gunfight was actually pretty fun. We were gonna do like a little mini tournament, but it's a lot of work. And I think most of you would rather just kind of game, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Either way, the hangout's going to be Friday the 23rd at 6 p.m. Pacific time. The reason we are telling you so early is because next week we are only going to have one episode. So there will not be a news pod, patch notes pod next week. Tanner will still be out of town. And so we are not going to be doing an episode. I think this is going to be fine because, especially with Infinity Ward, not much changes the week after a new season drops. So I don't think, frankly, you guys are going to be missing very much. Anything you do miss, we will cover on Saturday on episode 336. But that is going to be a week from the time you're hearing this episode. That's going to be our next public episode. You'll still have that Patreon episode to chew on in the meantime. And then after that week is over, we should be finally back to a normal asked schedule for 337 and beyond. It sucks that we had to cancel 2 episodes this month, but that was just my fault. We planned on canceling this episode we're going to next week. We did not plan on canceling the one we did earlier this month. I had a scheduling error, so sorry about that. I know the episodes have been kind of slow lately, but after next week, we will be back on track. 2 eps a week, normal times, almost certainly. And then we'll have some other exciting stuff cooking. You can listen to Damascus Patreon behind the scenes bonus episodes for details on that. So other than that, I think that is it. Let's get into the absolute topic.
Yeah.
So as I said, what the bulk of this episode is going to be first impressions of season 4, which we played quite a few hours of. And again, this is launch day. So we got on right when we finished patching and we just got off. It is, 2 p.m. Pacific time right now. So we've been playing for, what is that? Probably 4-5 hours, something like that. Yeah. And it was all on Vondel. So we tried quite a few things. I'm excited to talk about that because there is a lot that was quite surprising to me. We will get into that. But first, we're going to go through the patch notes. So as I said, this is going to be faster than we would normally go through the patch notes. Luckily, honestly, not that much to talk about that we didn't already know about.
There's not much besides the map, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So we really, you're really not going to be... We didn't miss much by not covering this in our last episode because there isn't much that's new here. Most of this shit we already knew. So we got the new guns, the Tempest Razorback and the ISO 45. I haven't used either of these yet. So I've used a little bit of the ground loot ISO actually. So I don't have much to say on it yet. Other than early reports are that the ISO 45 has the fastest Warzone TTK of the SMGs right now. That's according to, I believe, Exclusive Ace. Is that correct?
Ace, yeah.
Aaron?
I mean, he didn't. I don't know if he's talking about Warzone. He's talking about multiplayer, I'm sure. But that would translate over, and it would probably also be good. He said it has the fastest time to kill potential in the SMG category. But yeah,
okay.
I haven't used them.
So not necessarily in
them.
Warzone then, but still probably pretty good in Warzone. Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't really seen anyone running them yet. So they're in ground loot. They're pretty common.
I've seen one guy, but yeah, he might have had ground loot. I've used it a very little bit, and it feels like a Fennec, I would say, but a little beefier. Really high fire rate. Really high fire rate.
Is it that high?
Seemed really high to me. Yeah.
I only really, I think, used it one time, and I was mostly just shooting at a wall to feel it. It honestly just felt similar to like the Lockman sub or something to me. But yeah, I didn't use it much.
I'm thinking of the wrong gun.
The new AR has a really high fire rate. I feel like you're
Maybe
thinking
that's
of
what I
that.
had picked up. Yeah, I don't know. I thought I had an ISO, and I thought it was firing way faster than I thought it was going to. So, okay, well, yeah, we have nothing to say then on the new guns, other than we will talk more about them once we unlock them and start using them and stuff. But we didn't want to play Vondel. I considered, I had like 1,800 COD points. I considered getting some tier skips going and using the new guns right away. But I would rather play Vondel with like fully ass leveled guns, so I can give a pretty a fair review of Vondel. I think that's more important. So we will talk about the guns at some point, and I'm sure we'll see them in the mix and on the TL if they actually end up being viable. But in the meantime, yeah, not much else to say on that. So another thing I will say, hidden patch note. Much to my surprise, my pleasant surprise, the performance on Vondel is way better than I expected it to be. It's not good, but it's not bad at all.
It's Warzone 2 performance, yeah.
It's not like a super stuttery mess like Season 3 Reloaded was. And the frames are higher as well. I was getting a little stuttering here and there, but it was pretty sporadic. It was not like usually in Warzone 2 when I've gotten stuttering, I either just have it all the time, like the whole game, or I don't at all. And this today, it was like very sporadic, not often at all. So the frame seemed pretty consistent and not stuttery, which is mostly what you want. And yeah, the frames were like a little lower than a Sheikah.
Yeah, if you're used to playing a Sheikah, it's gonna feel worse than that.
Yeah.
If you're used to playing Moz, it's basically in the middle, like you would expect. The map size is in the middle of those two. It's fine.
It's fine. I will say, if you, like me, thought it was going to perform fucking miserably, it doesn't. It's okay. It's playable for sure. So that's good. So anyway, yeah, we got some new operators here, the new guns we've already talked about. So some weapon balancing changes. So obviously, they start off by saying the player health change is confirmed. In Warzone, you now have 150 base health, meaning you have 300 total health when you're fully plated, up from 250, which is how it used to be. And that makes every gun feel different, of course.
Yeah.
So they didn't do much weapon balancing at all. And honestly, I'm kind of okay with that if they start updating weapons soon after. Because it would be really weird to change the health total and then also try and weapon balance on top of that. Like, you can't really do it.
Yeah.
You have to start with one. So that's basically what they did. Normally, I would be seething that there was virtually no weapon balancing, but in this case, I'm not because of the health changes. So biggest change, of course, 100 to 150 health. We've already talked about that. They did do some weapon balancing as well. The Cronin Squall, full auto, bullets to kill, 2 more in Warzone. So they've never used this value before, but it's now 2 more bullets to kill than it used to be. I don't know if they're taking into account the extra 50 health, because if you have 50 extra health, it's probably already 2 bullets more to kill in full auto, unless you're hitting headshots. So don't really know what they mean. I'm assuming it's 2 more bullets to kill, and 50 more health. So like really dog shit. Max damage increased and minimum damage added. Those are all Warzone only. So max damage increased is weird and surprising.
Like a headshot will do more?
It means either that or the bullet will do more damage inside its first damage range. It would mean one of those two things.
Oh, yeah.
If it means the second thing, the Cronin's first damage range is like 32 meters. Like, it's really good.
Yeah.
So that's a weird change. That's a buff. It's a buff either way, obviously, but if it's the second one, that's like a lot more substantial of a buff. But they did add a minimum damage as well, which again is also a buff. But when you put all that next 2 more bullets to kill, it like doesn't really matter, I guess. I don't know. Miserable, awful way to explain what you did to the gun, but
I think they talk about it right above. Well, if select few weapons are listed below, it is important to note that most weapons will see their effectiveness altered as a result of the change to armor damage. For now, we'll be retiring the term armor damage, and any future changes that are Warzone specific. Okay, never mind. I guess that's not related to it. Okay. Because yeah, they're doing away with the armor damage. Them calling it armor damage. And according to True Game Data, the testing he did this morning, he already tweeted about it. He's tested a few guns. He said the armor damage is gone. So it's like you would basically do the same amount of damage to a person with plates versus if they don't have plates. Because before, if someone had no plates, one bullet could do like 50 damage. But if they did have plates, that same bullet will do like 45 damage for some reason. It was very weird. But that's what they were doing for a while. So I guess that's maybe just gone entirely.
Which it should be. They don't say that, of course. They say they're retiring the term armor damage. So they didn't. Again, wildly unclear patch notes.
Well, they don't know.
Terrible.
They don't know how their guns work. Yeah. So
they don't know anything. Yeah. Which we'll get into, of course.
Yeah.
But unfortunately. But yeah. So, normally, if this were a Thursday podcast, I would have 10 minutes to tell you about how abysmally this is worded, phrased, relayed. I don't know really what happened other than the Cronin got nerfed. That's kind of all I know. So, it did get nerfed, though. In full auto and in semi-auto as well, it was nerfed. I didn't even try using the Cronin. Because 2 more bullets to kill just sounds like dog shit to me. Like, oh, that's definitely not worth it anymore then.
That's all I used, pretty much.
But yeah, that's all Jake and Tanner used. What were your thoughts on it?
It's hard to say because the health increase. It's hard to say how much worse it actually got compared to just
one of us should have tried another gun also, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not used to other guns. I haven't used another full auto gun in like 2 months, so I don't know. I wouldn't be a very good gauge of that either, but long range it feels miserable. I mean really fucking bad.
That's
like close range, like I don't even know if it's going to be that viable going forward for Vondel, which we'll get a lot into when we talk about the map itself.
Real into it.
I'm not sure if any full auto gun's going to be meta for that map actually. I think the Cronin will still be really good on Ashika.
Combat knife is the meta on Vondel.
Yeah, surprise, I'm still the Ashika assassin. As soon as Ashika's back in, I'm going right back to it. I think it'll still be good there. But on like Vondel and on Maz, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think we just need data, honestly.
It doesn't feel very good. But yeah, I didn't use... Like, I tried using the RPK at one point, and there were 3 guys coming off a building. Shocking. They were on a roof, and I was trying to shoot them. If you played Vondel, you know all about that. And I was just spraying 3 of them with an RPK with a drum mag. And I'm going between them, thinking I'm going to get some downs. I don't even think I crack armor. I'm not kidding. Between the 3 of them, I get 12, maybe 15 hit markers. I mean, I'm spraying for 40 bullets. They're not even shooting back because they're on the edge of gas. I don't get a single. I mean, I don't even crack anyone. So I think just everything feels shit at range. And this is basically what he said. The time we did not need 50 extra health. We'll get more into it, though. I'll stop there.
Yeah, we'll get more into it. So anyway, so the Cronin was nerfed. Again, it's very hard to say without data or patch notes because we don't get them. But I think the Cronin's chalked now, by and large. I think it's dog shit now. But we'll see. I could be wrong, I guess. Shotguns. All 5 shotguns were... No, excuse me. 4 of 5 shotguns were massively buffed. The broadside was nerfed, which it didn't need, but it was nerfed. Mid damage decreased. What does that mean exactly? Don't know, but whatever. It was nerfed. But every other shotgun was buffed. The Bryson 800 and 890 minimum damage decreased. Warzone only. Okay. So that's the only nerf there. Everything else was a buff. Head multiplier increased. Neck multiplier increased. I think that's the first confirmation there is a neck hitbox in Warzone 2, by the way. in
No, we've had
MW2 also.
confirmation of that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's on Sim and TGD and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always been on there.
Upper torso multiplier. Well, it was for Warzone 1. I never saw Infinity Ward write the word neck, I don't think. But yeah, maybe they did. I don't know. Arms multiplier and legs multiplier. So they increase the multipliers on like everything. And since when you're using a shotgun, you're shooting pellets, that's a really big buff. And I did try running the Bryson 800 for a few games. It is a reliable 2-tap kill on someone fully plated at a decent range. A pretty substantial range, actually. So
Pretty heavy range.
Pretty heavy range. Is it worth using? Probably not. I think for solos they would be really good. Because you have more space to like shoot someone, get behind cover while you're rechambering, and then pop back out. And then you're going to beat every SMG if you're able to do that. But if you're playing like quads, you don't have that kind of maneuverability usually. And then even if you do, there's a lot of enemies and you don't want to be reloading a Bryson 800 because there's no detachable mag for it. So I don't think it's very viable outside of solos, but for solos, it's really good. Yeah. Solos, anything, I would imagine it's really good. But anyway, so yeah, all the multipliers increased. What else was I going to say? There are a couple other small changes to shotguns. They don't really matter. I would assume the best shotgun right now is the Bryson 800. And it, yeah, could be good for solos, but whatever. There was another change about pellets. I guess they talk about this later. Yeah, so we'll talk about that.
Yeah, it's weird. They also talk
there.
about Dragon's Breath later, too. It's very weird how they...
Infinity Ward.
It's right
Ward,
here
how
under
they've written
attachments,
this.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Fennec 45 SMG. Bullets to kill decreased by 1, so they buffed the Fennec. Again, the worst possible way to describe a gun balance change, but whatever. A couple new attachments, don't care. Broadside Dragon's Breath close range damage increased slightly. I think that's probably to account for the extra 50 health, so it's probably going to feel the same as it did before. Yeah. And no one uses it, so it doesn't matter.
There's Akimbo F-Tac Sieges now, which is the new full auto pistol they added last season. You can do those Akimbo. 25 hip fire kills with a F-Tac Siege.
Okay, cool. And then there's a new barrel for the Cast-Off 74U as well. It replaces tracer ammo? Yeah, okay. Whatever. Anyway, couple bug fixes.
Yeah, let's check the bug fixes.
Nothing to really go over there.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So yeah, moving on. Events, Assault on Vondel, don't care. Battle Pass, don't care. Parachute. Weapon quick raise is now always used when cutting your parachute or landing for improved responsiveness on landing. You know what? I didn't read this patch note before I got on today, but that does feel true, actually. I feel like I was able to shoot my gun a lot sooner after parachuting.
Yeah,
So that's a solid change. I actually do... I didn't consciously notice it, but like reading that and thinking back, yeah, that felt a lot better. So that's a good change right there. So anyway, Bomb Squad now scales down explosive damage and caps the max damage you can receive unless the damage was a direct impact. So that's a buff?
I don't even know how it worked before. Scales down explosive damage and caps the maximum damage. I mean, I guess before it just didn't have
like a flat 35%.
Yeah.
But now there's a cap. So yeah, I think it got buffed. Bomb Squad got buffed. That's what I'm getting from that. Again, terribly worded. Okay. Let's see. Quality of life. This is what Tanner found in Curry and Savage's video. When a player is down while simultaneously under fire from multiple enemy players, a text notifier will appear near the crosshair, indicating the total number of recent attackers. I mean, it's fine, I guess. I don't really care because I'm already down at that point anyway.
It's completely unnecessary.
But it's just completely unnecessary. Yeah. This is what devs spend their time on.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but like whatever. There are occasionally times where I die really fast and I wonder how many people were shooting me. And it's like kind of neat to be like, oh, okay, 4 people were shooting me at the same time. That's what happened there.
Yeah.
But I only saw 1 or whatever. But it's not needed at all. And it's ugly, by the way. It looks out of place.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like it. But anyway, that's in. So let's see. Adjustments here. A bunch of dog shit. I don't know. And then some more bug fixes that probably don't matter very much. So that's that. So as we said, this is going to be kind of a breeze through here because we want to get to the Vondel ship. So Spec Ops, don't care on principle. Have not played the new multiplayer maps at all. Showdown and Kunstenar District are in. Haven't played them, and I'll never play the new Ground War maps. And the gunfight maps we haven't played yet either, so nothing to talk about there. But they're in, but we already knew that. I forgot we're on the patch notes part of this. We do have 10v10 in the fucking absolute thing now. But again, we already knew that as well. So that is that. Let's see here. Some more bug fixes. So ranked play. Updated minimum level requirements for ranked play entry. Level 45. So I'm assuming this is for multi and Warzone. You now have to be level 45.
This is just multiplayer right here, but I'm pretty sure that's how Warzone is, yeah.
That's what I was... Okay. Because I thought Warzone was 45, so they added that to multiplayer, I guess.
What was multiplayer before? Nothing?
I don't know.
I don't even remember.
I guess, because I'm pretty sure it was level 45 for Warzone. So yeah, maybe they just added it in. And multiplayer did have way more cheaters in ranked, so
yeah,
maybe this will actually do something. That'd be cool. It's not a bad idea, though, so it's in now. You can't use the new guns in ranked, and then a bunch of other shit. They talk about the rewards and stuff, whatever.
You reset your rank the next season,
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. So they go into a lot of detail here. You can tell it's a different dev studio that wrote these patch notes, by the way.
Yeah, you can tell Treyarch wrote this.
Like, immediately.
It's so detailed.
It's detailed, it's clear, it's concise, it's formatted correctly. There's bullet points and sub-bullet points. Everything you could want in a patch note is here. So shout out to Treyarch for being a dev studio. Anyway, a lot of info on that. And it's all rehashing. So yeah, most of that shit is new. Not new, rather. So then next section here, Warzone 2.0, Assault on Vondel. It's like the global event. You do shit, and then, Oh, so when we complete our first community challenge, we will get the taxi boat and the trams.
Yeah.
That is one thing I was very excited about that I did not get to experience because the first little milestone hasn't been reached yet. So that'll be fun. By the time you're hearing this, I'm sure taxi boats will be in on Vondel, but keep in mind we have not seen them yet because we're recording this on the day of. So we got the new map, obviously, Vondel. They go over some shit there. Let's see. The lockdown mode on Vondel, which we have not played. It's like Hardpoint. We've already talked about this.
I don't even know if this is in. I don't think this is even in yet.
It's in season, so it's not in yet. Okay. Yeah, you're right. My bad. So the next section is gameplay adjustments. So yes, all maps, all modes. Wait. Oh, this is in the Warzone section, right? Yeah, it is. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, did they make multiplayer health 150? That'd be interesting, but they didn't. So yeah, they increased the health. We've already talked about that. This we have not talked about yet. The regen delay has increased from 5 seconds to 7 seconds. So in Warzone, when you took damage before in season 3, and then you didn't take damage for 5 seconds, you would start regaining your health. That timer is now 7 seconds, 2 additional seconds. Why did they do that? Don't know. Was it a good change or a necessary change? No. Actually, I do think I know why they did it. Because they increased the health, so they wanted to do this to give you even more time to maybe get another bullet to land a kill on someone far away. Because there's so much health that it's really hard to kill people far away. That's the only reason I could think why they would add this regen delay.
Yeah, it's very annoying. It was
But
not
it's not
necessary
good.
at all.
Yeah. Not
This
good.
yeah, this unfortunately needs to be
Slows down the
reverted.
game tremendously.
Yeah, it's like, especially early game, like fighting with ground loot and stuff, like you feel like you have to just wait so much longer before pushing someone because you don't have health so often. So
I literally
it's
do
just
that.
annoying.
Like, I take cover and I start plating up, which is normally what you do in Warzone. So that's already like 3 to 4 seconds gone. That's fine. But before, it would be like soon after you're done plating, your health starts regenning. So you might have to wait a little while longer, but you can start getting ready to get active.
Yeah.
But 2 Mississippis extra, they're regularly times today. I'm in a gunfight. I get it down or I don't, whatever. I'm weak. I get behind cover. I fully plate, put all 3 plates in, and then I'm just standing there with my dick in my hand. Like a long time. It is very noticeable and not a good change. Again, I think the only reason I can think of why they would do this is to make it easier to kill someone far away because of the increased health. That's now harder. So this is kind of to offset that. That's my guess as to why they did this, but it really fucks with the flow of combat, especially in Resurgence, when you're trying to like get active a lot, you know. It also makes stims more attractive.
Well, that's why they did it. They say that here.
About. Oh.
They were basically trying to increase the value of the stim.
Oh,
but
okay.
hey, guess what? No one's going to get off smokes
anyway.
unless you nerf the fuck out of them. Since people can't move across a street anymore, they're forced to smoke it and move because the movement speed's slow in this game, and you didn't change it whatsoever with this season either. So yeah, no one's going to use stims. It just doesn't matter because you can't move without smokes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Like stims are more attractive, but I'm totally with you. Not as attractive as a smoke grenade is.
Yeah.
No fucking shot. Maybe on Ashika. Definitely not on Vondel. And definitely not on Maz. Yeah. Maybe on Ashika, but I kind of doubt it there too. But it's possible, actually. But anyway, we'll get more into that later. We'll probably get into that on Patreon, actually. No, we won't, because we'll be talking about Vondel. Never mind. Get fucked.
Yeah.
Armor plates, quality of life. Players will automatically pick up 9 armor plates, 3 in the active loadout and 2 full stacks in the backpack. And then if you want more than that, you have to do it manually.
I would rather this have been an extra 3 stacks in the backpack, if anything. Because know what I was thinking? We were all constantly out of plates today. And it could just be there aren't enough plates, there are not enough resurgence chests on Vondel, I don't know yet. But it also could be because we're not used to having to pick up extra plates, because before you just run over them and you would end up having a full backpack of them. But since we're not used to picking up that extra stack now, we have less plates. Because we were just always out of them, I felt like.
Yeah.
So I think this, not a good change, this.
And you know what you do still automatically pick up? SMG ammo. And put it in your backpack.
Then that is, and as we've said, I'm so glad. I don't know if you ever saw it or if I told you, but OP Mark's pointed this out on Twitter. He's like, I'm going to lose my fucking mind if I look in my backpack again and there's a full stack of SMG ammo. And it's just like, I'm glad other people notice it, because so many little things we complain about and you never hear anyone else mention them. So I'm like, okay, good, we're not crazy. Again, they don't play the game, so they don't realize there is not a single scenario ever in Warzone where I want an extra 150 SMG bullets in my backpack. Ever.
Correct.
I don't. If you're using your SMG, you're going to be up close, you're dead, or you get the kill, and then you get their ammo, and you're good. I'm not sitting on a rooftop using my SMG, firing 180 rounds, and then be like, shit, I need more SMG ammo. No, but they don't play the game, so they don't realize things like that. And so that didn't get reverted, Smile. You still pick up SMG or whatever your secondary is. So if you're using a sniper, you have an extra 40 stack of sniper rounds in there too. Which that one's, I guess,
did get reverted, by the way.
Okay, but yeah. I mean, yeah. So
there are a couple hidden patch notes we have, by the way. A couple things did get reverted. So yeah, we'll get into those. Nothing good, of course. But anyway, you from an armor box and a muni, you now get a fixed amount of plates or ammo. So this is to make it so that you don't have to like drop your ammo in your plates before hitting a box to maximize it. Now you just always get the same amount when you hit a box. I like this a lot. this is a good type of quality of life change. Because it is annoying, like, oh, empty your ammo so that you can hit the muni so you get the most ammo. Just give me the most ammo regardless. So now it does that.
See, I don't know.
That's
I
good.
don't necessarily like this either, because I noticed one time when like we had no plates and I hit the muni because I wanted lethals, basically. I hit it for the lethals and the smokes. I look in my backpack and I have 2 full stacks of SMG and 2 full stacks of AR because I already had one of each, and then you hit the muni and it gives you another stack. So cool. I have 500 SMG bullets on me. Again, this is not a good change, and they don't know because they don't play the game and they don't think about these things. So also a dumb change in my opinion. I would rather drop the ammo if I know I want to carry more. I'd rather that be up to me than just throw other extra shit in my backpack.
Well, you have to drop the ammo either way.
Yeah, but
Right.
you usually I'm not even doing that anyway, since you pick up the full stacks as it is. I'm only hitting munis at this point for smokes usually. Because I always already have the full stack of AR. Like, I don't even drop ammo that much anymore to pick it up because I don't ever need the extra ammo, it seems.
Yeah, on this map you don't, but I think this is a good change. I like it,
I think it's unnecessary, but yeah.
Vehicle fuel, I don't know. I don't care. I'm not reading it. Okay, let's see.
I think there's no more
Couple
gas cans
playlist
and ranks or
updates.
something. I don't know if that's here.
Is that what it said? No, it doesn't say that here.
I saw someone tweet that, so maybe it talks about it in ranked.
Yeah, so.
You can't refuel choppers.
Next section is BR, Resurgence, Plunder, and more. So they talk about the playlists. The rejoin reconnect feature is now in beta. So we actually didn't crash at all. Props.
No.
Again, kind of surprising. The servers seemed pretty good. They've seemed as good as they have lately.
Yeah, no
Not
lagging
terrible.
out or anything.
Yeah. So we haven't had the privilege to reconnect yet, but if you experience a client crash, you'll be able to reconnect within 4 minutes. You must have at least a squad member alive, and there have to be at least 5 squads remaining in the match. Okay, interesting. They talk about some more known issues, whatever, they'll keep ironing that out. But finally, we have the beginnings of a reconnect feature.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Took 5 years.
Would have been really great if we had this when people crashed every 4 minutes on Al Mazrah when the game
Also
launched.
that, yeah. Yeah, now when
So
I never
now
crash,
they fixed
now we have
so
a
the
reconnect
crashing
feature,
issues, and
yeah.
now we finally get the feature. And I would say, oh, but we'll have it going forward. But everything we thought about Warzone 1 we'd have going forward when they made the change, we didn't get it in Warzone 2. So I guess we can't even think that either. It's good we have it though. This will be really good for ranked, especially.
It'll be good for ranked for sure. Because I think crashing happens more in ranked. Which
There are
is
some
insane,
people that
but-
crash numerous times a day in ranked, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll talk more about that later.
Anywhere, should do it in ranked. That's a good feature.
Yeah, they'll
Shout out
talk
to
about the
Infinity Ward.
functionality later on in the rank play section, I guess, on how it works. I haven't read that actually, but we'll read that.
Yeah. Anyway, the kill cam has been enabled in the Gulag. This is fake news.
It won't work.
The kill cams have not worked since 2019's beta. They are random, sporadic. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. You'll probably now sometimes get a Gulag kill cam, and there will be no rhyme or reason. It's just sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. It doesn't matter
There's
how
a
many
chance
times you died.
Yeah, it may exist
It's just
now.
a dice roll. Yeah, so cool. Anyway. Players now able to skip the exfil sequence animation. That's kind of nice.
No, proximity
be
voice
winning.
chat disabled in pre-match lobby. That was the best part of playing Ashika. Everyone would be shit-talking each other. Fuck. That's not a quality of life. That sucks, man.
Yeah, you guys could just mute the voice chat, right? Yeah, that's what I do.
That sucks.
But anyway.
That was funny. There was so much shit-talking.
Yeah. Vondel, all modes. The tactical amphibious vehicle, which Tanner has driven a little bit. It's only a 2-seater.
I took it for a drive, yeah.
Yeah, it's only a 2-seater. You can like climb in the back like a Bertha, but if you want to like sit in it, it's only a 2-seater.
This
So
is
that's kind of
weird
annoying.
because it says it accommodates 1 driver, 1 passenger, and 4 in the back. The fact they say 4 in the back makes it seem like it's a set slot.
It does.
Because
sound
I'm
that
sure
way, yeah.
I'm sure I could fit 5 or 6 back there, a guy on the roof. So the fact that it says fit 4 specifically, maybe it's just bugged and you're supposed to be able to get in, or
It
maybe
could've
you're
bugged
just.
out. I only tried to get in once.
I was gonna say
yeah.
maybe you're just dog shit trash, and
No,
I
that's
don't
not
know.
it.
I didn't test it though, so I don't know. I just hopped in the driver's seat. It's cute. It's for sure. It's the cutest vehicle we've ever had in Warzone. I'll give it that. It was fast. It was fast in the water. We didn't use it because, I mean, you can't because everyone's on a roof. So if you use it, you're just dead. So don't use it.
Yeah, it's
but,
really dumb to use.
It needs cover on the top. Yeah, they didn't think that one through whatsoever.
It needs to be covered. I agree. It's too dog shit.
I didn't see anyone using them, and it's because
and if it
that
had
reason.
cover like the SUV has, it would still be really dangerous.
Exactly.
But it would at least be usable.
Yeah. It's
Like in a
actually
pinch.
not usable.
But
yeah.
now it's just unusable.
Especially
yeah.
in the water, so.
Yeah. So cool.
That's cool though.
Anyway, it's in the
Oh,
dynamic
fun.
fog system. Oh yeah. By
Let's
the way,
read
the
about it.
fog. What?
No. Go ahead.
The fog is not rare.
They
So I don't
straight
know
up
when
fucking
or
lied.
Where they said that, but it's not rare. It was probably 40% of our games got foggy, I would say.
Here's
What do
the
you
thing
think?
that was weird is it should either be foggy in the pregame lobby if the match is going to start foggy. It should be that way, or it should be clear in the pregame lobby if the match is going to start clear. Because so many times, like when we first loaded in, that is like the first thing I said to you. I was like, wow, this map has really good visibility. You can see across the whole map. It's so clear. It's bright, vibrant, looks good. And then just like immediately, that's the pregame lobby. Then you get into the match and there's light fog everywhere. And it's just, it was probably at least 40% of the games. I counted the last 4 games we played in a row had fog. From a low amount to some of them had a lot of fog. And there will be like a voice announcer that's like, there's fog rolling in or something like that. Or heavy
And they
fog
say the
rolling
fog
in.
leaves too.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Heavy
I
fog.
didn't expect that.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I mean, just remove it. I don't want fog.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. So.
Oh, and this
anyway.
is something we didn't talk about. So billboards found around the map will serve as a way for players to plan around the weather forecast. So there are supposedly like little,
Oh shit! Really?
like little electronic billboards that will tell
I didn't
you
see a single one
what
of
the
those.
weather is going to be like what it's going to change to. And also, I guess those billboards will show the hottest areas of the map. So it'll tell you which POIs are most contested at that time. So if there are like
Whoa.
40 players fighting at the train station, it'll tell you that like that's a hot zone or something right now. That's what I remember hearing that in one of the guys who played it early talked about it in a video, but I didn't hear it until after we did that pod, so I didn't get to mention it on the pod. But yeah, I guess that exists. So that's kind of cool.
I didn't see a billboard or like pay attention.
I
to
think
one.
they're not, they call it billboard. It's not a billboard. It's think of like when you go to a bus stop, if we don't ride the bus.
I know exactly what you're talking
But
about.
like those,
Yeah,
just
it's
those
like-
little
it's like
tiny
7 feet tall.
boards. Yeah, but they're not real
Yeah,
big.
yeah.
I think it's essentially that, and they're electronic, and they're like all around the map. They should be pretty
okay.
common.
I'll keep my eyes out for those. Yeah. By the way, wasted dev resources doing that. But okay.
Just to add
Anyway.
in a weather feature that most people don't want. Yeah. So
It's
remove the fog.
Yeah. Anyway. High stakes new public event. Yeah, that's the thing where you get like double XP for getting the box or whatever. I don't know if this is in already, but I've never done it. The reinforcement flare is not in the game. We played for 4 hours and did not see a single one. So I don't know when that's
This is coming with
but-
the event. This is all coming
Okay.
with the event, I think.
Got
Because the
it.
favorite
That makes
supply
sense.
box, same thing.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So we've already talked about those things. Ground loot has been updated. Armor boxes now cost 2,500 instead of 2K, as well as munis. I think that's honestly
That
okay,
sucks, but it was needed. Yeah, they were so cheap before.
especially munis. If anything, you make munis more expensive, not armor boxes. That's what I would prefer.
Especially with like the
'Cause
smoke meta we're in, because people will put smokes in their backpack, then pick up more.
Yeah, it's kind of toxic. But like armor box should be pretty cheap. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal
On
though,
the
but whatever.
on the ground loot, by the way, the ground loot is better. A lot of guns now will have like high velocity ammo, and they'll also have extended mags. So like, there's an M4 that has 2 attachments. The M4 has a 45 round mag and high velocity bullet. So that's cool instead of just like
Can you
before.
explain to me the 15 round MP5 I picked up in Exhibit?
Yeah, so most of the ground loot's good, but for some reason, honest to God, I did not know this existed. I guess the Lockman sub has a 15 round mag you can equip. I totally
1.5, yeah.
skipped over that. So that exists. So just be careful, because you see a Lockman on the ground, you think you're picking up a Lockman sub. There's a 15 round mag version, so be very careful. Do not use
That's what Jake said, by the way. I don't even know if that exists. I feel like he was just wrong.
What do you mean?
Is there a 15 round mag attachment for the MP5?
Yeah, no, I picked it up too, and you can see it's physically shorter because I even
really?
Because I even reloaded it. I'm like,
That's
what the fuck is
hilarious.
this? Yeah, it's a 15 round mag.
What would you use that for?
Yeah, better mobility and ADS speed, but it's like it's an SMG.
Just
yeah.
insane. Yeah. So anyway,
It's just a way for them to say this gun has 25 attachments. Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, okay. Resupply perk. The time to recharge equipment has been increased to 50 seconds, up from 30. That's a good change. I didn't know it was only 30 in Warzone. That's fast. So this is a solid change. Yeah. It's still quite good at 50 seconds.
Yeah,
But
50 is
30
what
is
it was
aggressive.
in Caldera at the end of it.
Correct. Yeah. Anyway, let's see here. Bounties will prioritize people close to you. That's good. Most wanted contract. They say they changed it. They actually just removed it.
It doesn't exist. There's
Yeah.
a hidden patch note. They removed the most
There's another
wanted
hidden
contract.
patch note for you.
Which sucks because that's the best way to get an early loadout on a Sheikah. You grab a most wanted, you start opening chests, you have that contract done within 25, 30 seconds. You get the supply crate, which will have like a good gun, a streak usually, a durable gas mask. You get money for doing the most wanted. So it sucks that we don't have that on Vondel. That's another reason. I think that's another part of the money issue that we'll talk about.
The Mishu, yeah. Okay, and then gas circle finale behavior. I don't know if they meant to write finale, but they did. But there's not a single professional adult person working at Infinity Ward, so we'll never know. Because they're incompetent, brainless, dog shit, trash, awful devs. Don't forget that. The number of moving circles in the final phase of a match has been decreased to 2, down from 4. Okay. I guess that's fine. I don't know. I have nothing to add there.
The circles
Most
move
games
and
don't
collapse in size slower than before. Okay, maybe the moving ones do, the other ones don't. I mean, you have no time to think at the end. There's 10 seconds between zones. The gas moves like the first circle gas moved on Verdansk. It's like quick. You do not have time to even think.
Yeah, the next patch note was these circles move and collapse in size slower than before. They're just talking about very end game circles.
Like the moving ones, yeah.
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 Yeah. So most of the time these don't exist. Most of the time the game's over by then.
Yeah.
So before that happens, rather. Hidden patch note for speaking of gas circles. Here's a hidden patch note for you. They're fucking awful. They're awful. They're awful. Tanner and I played Vondel for 4 hours. We had one good circle where most of the map was in it.
And even then, it wasn't a good circle. It was close to a good circle. It was a serviceable circle, I would say. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about our very first game.
Oh, yeah, I don't even remember what that circle
and then there was
was.
another one that was a serviceable, pretty shit circle.
Yeah. Weird though. Weird how the circles are fucked up. Because like when Ashika came out, it was the same way for like weeks. That's super weird. Oh, you know what? And Maz also had the same thing where every circle was ending in water. Oh, and you know what? Caldera also had the same thing where 70% of the circle was in the water to start with. It's weird. You'd think they would get something right after years of developing the game, but yeah.
Yeah, it's real strange. It's like they make mistakes and then fix them, kind of, but also way too late, and then they just make the same mistakes again.
They learn nothing. They make the same mistakes. We will get all into it, don't you worry.
Yeah, we'll get balls deep in that. But yeah, there's another little hidden patch note sneak preview for you. Gas damage is reduced to 6 from 9. That is good. The gas was very punishing. So now it does 6 instead of 9 damage. That's a substantial amount less, by the way. I didn't really notice it too much today, but that's a good change because, yeah, it was really cooking. During the first 4 circles, gas damage is only 5, down from 6. And that's while wearing a gas mask. They're so bad at writing patch notes. They're so bad at it. God, they're awful. I don't know. Whatever. We're moving on. Armor plates. The number of plates the players spawn in with in the gulag is now 1 instead of 2. But you'll still have a full 3 in ranked play. Okay. Gulag
Oh my
overtime
god! Wait,
change, don't
3
care.
full plates in the gulag with the added health. Oh my god! I will never win a gulag.
with the added health.
Holy shit!
You'll
man.
never win a gulag.
Imagine
again.
a mini bach with that. That's like a 20 shot time to kill.
Yeah, that's a lot of shots.
Holy fuck yeah, GG's.
That's a lot of time for me to stay on target with my stupid hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, anyway, okay, strongholds. So this is something we've also talked about. Inactive strongholds have been renamed to abandoned supply caches. Active strongholds and abandoned supply caches are now enabled from the moment the match starts during infill. Okay, so inactive strongholds now are something. It's an abandoned supply cache. Because before, inactive strongholds were just inaccessible until the regular strongholds open, and then they were just normal ass buildings. Now they're abandoned supply caches. That's interesting. Anyway, they're
Does
now,
that mean they're named on the map? The fact they call them that or marked on the map? Because that would be annoying, right?
I don't know if it would be annoying. It would depend if there's something worth having there at an inactive stronghold.
Well, I'm just saying, does this mean they're going to show every single inactive stronghold or something? Just because I don't know, just 'cause it says they renamed them. I wasn't sure if that meant they were also going to like mark them all on the map. So
I
you knew where the
suspect they
supply
won't.
caches were. Okay. Because yeah, that would be miserable for the UI. Okay.
Yeah. Active strongholds and abandoned supply caches now have floating POI indicators that can be seen from above in the world space during infill.
Oh.
So active strongholds already had the icon. I guess they have it in the overview now as well. White
doesn't do that
supply
for
boxes have been removed from active strongholds. And they say, we're putting the focus strongholds on the loadout acquisition and UAV benefits for owning the structure. Abandoned supply caches are intended to be fruitful loot locations worthy of a visit.
Okay, I like that.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're essentially
Okay.
not getting a bunch of money and streaks at strongholds anymore. You're just there for the loadout and that UAV sweep.
Yes.
And I wonder if you still get
So
tempered.
it sounds like they're trying to make it so you get either the loadout and UAV benefits or a lot of loot. But you can't go to one place to get both, which
Yeah.
is how strongholds used to be, the active ones. And I think that is actually a good change, because one thing we were worried about was strongholds on Moz just being insanely hot, because you would get, I even like pointed out specifically, you'd get loadout plus boxes plus the UAV thing plus ammo, etc. But if they like bifurcate those, then you could be like, okay, well, if I don't hit the active stronghold, which is still going to be hotter because that's where you get the loadout and the UAV sweeps are nice. At least I can go to an inactive one and there's like a ton of loot there. I like this a lot, actually. It's going to make the strongholds, the active ones, less hot right off rip, which I think is good. I think this is pretty solid. I haven't played Moz yet, so I don't know, but this sounds better than what I was thinking when this was leaked. So yeah, we'll see how that plays. No AI, very good. The bomb defuse objective has been removed from active strongholds. With strongholds activating at the start of each match, we are balancing the rewards to reflect the challenge. So since you don't have to defuse a bomb anymore, I guess you just walk in and hold on. Let me keep reading.
No, it says right there, you'll be prompted with the hold the line capture objective. So you just cap it. It's like capping a flag.
You just cap it like a hard point. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Completing an active stronghold will only reward the black site key upon first capture. So if you come to one that's already been taken, you won't get a black site key. So that likewise makes getting there first off rip more attractive if you're a black site doer. You're now able to recapture a stronghold that has been captured by another squad. Haven't you always been able to do this?
Well, keep reading.
Okay. Subsequent captures will only reward players with access to the custom loadout crate and the Stronghold UAV effect. The UAV effect from completing a Stronghold will now be shown to enemy players on the TAC map.
Because I think before, whoever captured it first had the UAV sweep the entire time. It's not that way anymore. Whoever then caps it the next time, they get the UAV sweep. So I think that's what they mean by, like, it's been recaptured, because that second squad will get the UAV sweep.
I thought it always changed the UAV over, but maybe it didn't. That's interesting.
I don't think so, because how did we have the UAV for the entire match so many times then? There's no way no one was ever hitting those strongholds.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. It would explain why they wrote this, but, you know, Infinity Ward doesn't write things that make sense often, so maybe not. Yeah, either way, that's how it works now, I guess. So that's good also, by the way. That's a good change, if it is a change. And that's it. So black sites, the UAV effect from completing a black site will now be shown to enemy players on the TAC map. So yeah, by the way, when you have the stronghold in the black site, I guess other people will now see the UAV effect. Again, I thought it worked this way before. No, I guess you just saw the red icon. You didn't see the UAV sweeps. So this is probably a good change. You should know if someone has that thing sweeping. So I'll take that.
And it'll
That's
show
good.
like the range of the sweep, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Resurgence, so they added the Vengeance icon. It's meaningless, by the way. It adds nothing, really, ever. As Tanner said.
You have to ping someone. When they had first talked about it...
Oh, that's why.
When they had first talked about it or something...
they did not mention that
it'll
at
say
all.
It'll show the direction of the squad you were killed by, but no, you have to literally live ping him, which then it changes nothing because I don't think they stay live pinged any longer. It just shows like a little skull above their head instead just like of the red arrow above their head tracking them. That's the only difference. You just know that's the guy that just killed your teammate. But one of your teammates has to live ping him like right after. So it
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly how it works.
I don't know
yeah,
what the point was, yeah.
I don't know, whatever. It's the Vengeance mechanic did not meaningfully impact the game at all.
Oh, I guess if nothing else, it'll reduce the Resurgence countdown timer more than others if you kill the Vengeance person. Okay. Whoever the Vengeance icon is on. But
the intel it supposedly gives you, I didn't notice that once in 4 hours. So I don't know how it works. I don't know. Again, they're unclear, miserable, contradictory, dog shit, and trash, and not a professional dev studio. They're unprofessional, and they're not good at their jobs, and they shouldn't have them. Nor should it be a company. Tracked squad indicator. Squads will receive a HUD warning similar to the one used for the interrogation mechanic. When a squad member has been eliminated and the enemy squad is able to see the position of remaining squad members.
What? I don't
even know what this is.
That's not in the game.
That's not in the game, or if it is, I don't know. I don't know what that is, so whatever. So they changed
is this the thing it's talking about?
But
where it shows the Korean Savage thing, where it shows like 2 on your screen or whatever? I think that's what this is. It would make sense when a squad member has been eliminated. Oh no, because it's not when you're eliminated; it's just when you're downed. Even.
Yeah.
This doesn't.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't know what it is. So anyway, interrogation's now in Resurgence. I guess it wasn't before. I never thought to do it. That's interesting. Okay, and then let's see here.
That's huge, actually. Yeah. Okay.
So next section here is Warzone ranked play. What is this? Hold on.
What you reading?
Oh, okay. Restricted. So there are no more gas cans in ranked now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't float for super long with the chopper anymore, like people were doing.
Right. Good change, I would say. Because you could still refill if you actually go to the gas station, but you can't just stock up on a bunch of gas cans. I think for ranked especially, that's probably smart. because you still can use the feature, but it's just not the gas cans also. The deployment fee update, iridescent. The max fee is decreased from -210 to -230. Wow.
Yeah,
So now it's even bigger of a penalty.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't really matter what we say. We'll never hit that, but I think it's cool. Like, as somebody who watches the streams, I think, again, as they raise that really continues to set apart a really good player from a insane player. So I think that's cool. Because there are guys that have been playing the game competitively since Verdansk, and they play like every day, and they still can't even crack top 250. And something like this will just, harm them even more, I think.
Separates the boys from the men,
I think it's cool.
Say. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take it, I guess. Okay. And then they talk about the challenges and the rewards. And it's very well done, professional, clear, concise, formatted properly. Obviously, Treyarch did this. But nothing here that we're going to cover right now.
Spawn protection reduced to 2.5 seconds, down from 10 seconds.
That's really good for rank. There shouldn't be any, but that's good. So, yeah. And then all the other things are pretty much the same. All the other deployment fees are the same except for the max fee, it looks like. And then, just so much information on how this mode works. It's insane. It's so obvious that it's a different dev studio that wrote these patch notes. I just can't believe it. So anyway, a ton of bug fixes.
They changed like nothing with the point system as well. I expected, honestly, way more ranked play changes. You got like nothing. Same placement points, same kill and assist points, and the same structure. I expected a ton of changes that we actually had an entire episode about. I don't remember if that's a Patreon episode. I expected them to change the breakdown of how kills and assists work based on how many teams were left, a lot of different things, and they changed none of it, actually. So I guess they thought it was working well.
To be fair, it kind of is. I don't see people really complaining about the scoring mechanism in ranked Warzone.
Yeah, no, I guess not.
So,
and then also, I thought about it more after I said that you shouldn't get the same amount as assists as you do kills. It's not sustainable for like the top 250 players, because that means
they would have to adjust the deployment fee.
Basically, two of them would have to be negative every single game. Yeah, it would be it.
One thing I would like to see that maybe we just glossed over it. It could be in the bug fixes, actually, but if you do damage to someone who's down, you get an assist. It's silly watching these top 250 rank play streamers.
That's what I'm talking about with the assist thing. Yeah. Yeah,
downing someone and just like one bulleting them.
Yeah, but that has to happen with the deployment fee system they have, I think. Otherwise, these top 250 guys, it'd be hard for them to gain points.
Yeah, you'd have to adjust the deployment
fees. You'd have to adjust it a lot,
stuff.
I think. Like major adjustments, so.
I think they should, though. I think you should only get an assist if you contribute to the down. And then if you do, you get the same amount as if you got the kill yourself.
Yeah.
But if you shoot someone who's downed, I don't think that should count as an assist. But you're right. If they did change that, they would have to. Although maybe I'm wrong about that, because there are a lot of self-reses, especially in ranked. So fulling someone who's down is like pretty important. So maybe it's fine. I don't know. It's just kind of goofy watching these people like.
It is a little goofy.
Oh, this guy's down.
Describe it.
Yeah, but whatever. It's not the end of the world.
Taps.
Yeah, get your taps. So anyway, next section, DMZ. Not reading. Don't care.
There's a lot, but yeah, we're not going to cover it. Maybe we'll revisit DMZ this season, because there were a ton of changes, but we're not talking about it today. It got like a lot of changes, actually.
Yeah. If there's anything that stands out to you want to talk about, go ahead. But I'm not reading any of this.
No.
Okay. So, yeah, that's it for the patch notes. So overall, impression of the patch notes is not as much as I was expecting. I was mainly expecting a ton of weapon balance, but that was also before I knew the base health change was happening.
Yeah.
So provided that, this all makes sense. And I mean, they didn't change much, but the things they did change, I guess, are pretty good. My problems are really with the things they added, not with the things they changed. Like, I like the change to the Muni and the armor box. I like the change to the gas damage doing less. I think that's good. There were a couple other quality of life things. A reconnect feature is cool. So the changes that were made, by and large, I think are good. Shotguns probably did need a buff for Warzone as well, which they got, because they are dog shit. They were dog shit in Season 3, and now they are still very niche use case. They're certainly not overpowered. But, you know, we're getting a new shotgun also. So if we get another semi-auto shotgun, then, you know, things might get crazy. And Captain Jack might be going starboard again. Hopefully that's true, but we'll, of course, get into that. But the things that were changed, I think, by and large, I like them. And then a lot of the things they added were neutral, such as the Vengeance or the Tracked Squad, which I don't know what that is, or negative, which is Vondel, and all of the mechanics surrounding it. So with that said, let's get into our next section, Season 4, First Impressions. So, we wrote these down in no particular order, and this is, I mean, we are hot off of our first session here. Reminder, we're recording this on Wednesday, the 14th, update day. We woke up, we updated our game. It took entirely too long, by the way. Get a better upload server, Blizzard. I don't know. $billion corporation, but whatever. Then I launched the game. Update requires restart. Smile did that. And then shader optimization. Smile did that. And then we played Vondel. And we played Vondel only. And we didn't use any of the new guns. And that is the whole sum total of our first impressions for Season 4 is going to be about Vondel. So this is really going to be a Vondel first impressions. But there are going to be some other things sprinkled in there, such as the TTK, and the Cronin nerf, etc. So beyond that, though, no particular order to these patch notes. So I think we want to start with the time to kill. Let's start with that. So they raised the TTK because they raised the base health. Is it noticeable? My answer is yes, absolutely. The biggest thing I'm noticing is, I mean, and this is obvious actually, but like you crack plates at the same rate. So I get a crack when I expect to. But when you shoot someone who's flesh, before that meant like they're 1 or 2 bullets away from being dead. Now that's not true. You can shoot someone without plates and they're still pretty healthy.
They're healthy.
You notice it substantially. There is a lot more health at medium range and at long range. It's a lot harder to get full kills. Up close, do you notice it? Also, yes. You definitely notice it up close. That was the intention, after all, of the change, was to lower make slower the time to kill up close. And I think it did that effectively. And what I would say now is up close, the time to kill feels pretty good. Mid and long range, there were a lot of times, I'm surprised actually, by the way, at how many times mid-range and long-range I got a kill and it felt fine. Like, it didn't feel like that person had extra health. That was happening kind of a surprising amount of times. But then there are other times where it was like, holy shit, how many more bullets do I need to land? This is insane. Overall, was it good or bad? I mean, I kind of like it. But I only played for 1 day, and it is a little too burdensome to kill people far away in general. So I'd say overall it was bad. There were better ways, once again, to slow down the TTK up close that they should have done. which is to say lowering multipliers for shotguns, pistols, and SMGs. And then really only rewarding upper torso, neck, and head. So that way there's still a skill gap, but in general, the time to kill up close is going to be slower. And then if that's not enough, we can go from there. But they didn't do that, of course. It's Infinity Ward. They're lazy. What's easy to do? Just change the value of X in their whatever data inspect element, and then done, and then call it a day. Oh, we raised the TTK. Yeah, sort of, but you kind of ruin the mid-range and long-range game as well. Not good. By the way, for context, I was using the Lockman 556, but we'll get into that a little bit. Tanner, what are your thoughts on the TTK?
Yeah, there's a lot. To start with, whatever opinions we have on this, I'm sure will drastically change in the coming weeks, the next month or so. Caveat. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind with all these. Especially when we get to the problems with the actual map itself. But time to kill, it's pretty much what I expected. So like the first game on, Raz and I queued for quads, which that's all I play now. I play Ashika, quads, random fill. And the lobbies aren't very good. It's a way lower lobby KD than if I queue with 4 people. It's going to be so much sweatier. So Raz and I queued with 2 randoms. I had a great first game on the map. I dropped 17 kills. We got like 4th place. It was fun. It was exciting. There were numerous times when I was like, damn, like I was able to turn on that guy and I won that gunfight, and I don't think I would have won that. Then Jake decides to join us. Lobbies get a little harder. Then Cope decides to join us. Lobbies get a lot harder because we're 4 stacked, and that's the way skill-based matchmaking works. It definitely, you get put in harder lobbies when you have 4 people that are above, technically, I think, very above average KD in this video game. So, and as soon as that happened, I couldn't win any gunfights ever, one-on-one. Close-range gunfights go from me outgunning someone to, like I said, like any good controller player who still has like a 1 KD less than me, but they're still a good controller player, they're going to win a lot more gunfights on me than I'm going to win now because I accidentally miss a shot and then I'm just dead. It's fine if they're really dog shit, then I can take advantage of that at times. But once you got in the sweaty lobbies, the time to kill felt pretty bad from my point of view. I was not enjoying it.
Up close, especially.
Up close either, yeah. None of it was great. Up close, I felt like it took too many bullets to kill at times. I don't know. It's closer to being where it's at, though, when it comes to the close range time to kill versus where the medium and long range time to kill. The long range time to kill is just miserable, yeah.
Yeah.
And especially on this map, where there is so much cover and everyone is on a roof and everyone's on a head glitch, you do not get full kills. You don't. Maybe this won't actually be as much of an issue on Moz since there's a lot of open space. I know there's smokes and shit, but because you can get more bullets on a guy, maybe it won't matter as much. But for this map specifically, the long range time to kill, it feels really, really shit. And I think even on Ashika, it would feel okay. But right now with this map, it is all head glitches. That's all you see is someone's forehead on a roof. You get a bunch of hit markers, and it just doesn't matter. And I was using the Cronin Squall all day long. And it feels a lot worse, yeah. But I don't really know how much of that's the health and how much that's because the gun actually got nerfed. I'm very excited for them to for some people to put out some data on this. Hopefully, I think True Game Data has already been testing that shit, so hopefully he gets that out today. I'd like to know. But overall, it's what I expected, I think. I just don't like it as of right now. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe when I play Vondel again, solo and I'm playing with randoms and I get shittier lobbies, maybe I'll enjoy it a lot more. But like with strict skill-based matchmaking in this game, when you queue with friends and you want to play with friends, you just can't because you get thrown in insane lobbies. It's not fun because everyone's cracked out of their mind and they're all on controller and I don't win any gunfights up close ever.
Yeah.
So it's a little frustrating. I'm not the biggest fan of it at all.
Yeah, and this is, like you said, kind of what we expected. I was dicking around with the shotgun, and as I said earlier, reliably two-tapping people with it. And there were a couple instances where I was glad I had a shotgun over a sub, but most instances I was not. I would have rather had a sub, because we were playing quads. But I will say again, for those of you who have the misfortune of playing on keyboard and mouse, hipfire builds help. I did win some heads-up gunfights against probably demonic controller players, and it's only because I was using a hipfire build. Because that way, it's like you're not really gonna miss a shot. You're just gonna not. You can't. You land more bullets in general. Up close, and when the time to kill is slower, when you need to land more bullets, then you get punished obviously way harder for missing once, and that's easier to do if you're ADSing. So I'd encourage all of you on keyboard and mouse, if you're very frustrated up close, go back to a hipfire build. They didn't touch the MP5 at all. That hipfire build that I've been jerking off for the past 3 months is exactly the same. It's still really good, and I still won some gunfights up close with it. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. But overall, still, I don't support this change at all. And yeah, the mid-range and long range where you notice it the most. One thought we did have that we've already talked about is, this makes sniping better because it's still a one-shot headshot kill, but now the time to kill is slower, so they take longer to kill us, but we take the same amount of time to kill them if we're sniping. We did try sniping on Vondel. Cope was doing okay. I was not doing okay. And most of us were not doing well.
Cope was
sniping.
using a ground loot with no high explosive. That's why he was hitting all of his shots.
Why.
I think because we were essentially third-partying people, so a lot of people would be cracked, so he was able to get one-shot headshot downs. Yeah, that was working out really well. He was getting a bunch.
Yeah. But besides that, all of us trying sniping was not working at all.
Worked one game for me, it was okay, but yeah, hit or miss.
What I want to say, since we're talking about season 4, is that sniping still probably is more attractive than it used to be on Al Mazrah. Not on Vondel, though. It's, unless you're like fucking insane, maybe, but there's still a ton of flinch.
There's so much flinch.
And Vondel is very hectic. So you're going to be flinching a lot. You're going to be getting shot from like other angles all the time. Sniping is very challenging, I think, to do on Vondel. And I think the juice is not worth the squeeze for most people. Despite the TTK change. Now, again, maybe on Moz, it's different. I would imagine it is different on Moz. There's probably going to be more sniping on Moz, and there's probably a good reason for it. But on Vondel, I don't see it.
Yeah.
So, just something to keep in mind. At least not for me, anyway.
We were doing okay, but we did notice, and one of us pointed out, when we all stopped sniping, we finally won a game, and then we won back-to-back games, actually.
And then we won 2 games in a row.
The second game, I actually did pick up a sniper, and I was using that for a little bit. And that came in handy at the end. I got a few kills at the end with a sniper that we maybe would have been a little bit harder. I don't know, but it was probably more because we had better positioning. AKA, we were on a roof, they weren't, so we won the game, yeah.
Right. We'll get into it.
I don't know, though. Yeah, sniping definitely, for me personally, more attractive than it was prior for Vondel. I still, like, obviously, I'm not going to snipe on a Sheik or anything, no way. Even with this health increase, I wouldn't even think about it. Vondel, maybe. Depends what changes we see to the map in the coming weeks, what fixes they make to it. Almaz, maybe.
We need circle changes.
We need a lot of changes, which we'll talk about with the map, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Cronin's not feeling good at long range, so I really don't know what to use. I can only imagine how bad something like the Hemlock feels. 1300, yeah. I mean, 1200 millisecond time to kill. That's if you're hitting every single shot on someone who's essentially not moving. So by the time someone's moving around, you're missing shots, especially on this map. Again, so much cover, so many ways to get away. That 1200 millisecond time to kill turns into about 35 seconds. So it's pretty miserable. Yeah.
Yeah. So on that topic, yeah, what I was using today, besides the sniping experiment and the shotgun experiment, was the MP5, as I mentioned, and the Lockman 5.56 was my primary AR today on Vondel. That's mostly what I use today. And I don't have a point of comparison because I didn't use any other long-range AR with the health increase. However, It felt really good. I don't know if it's gonna be meta, but I remember not with season 4, but very recently, the Lockman 556 AR got buffed pretty substantially, and it was like pretty good on paper, but not better than a Cronin before the nerf. But now the Cronin finally got nerfed, so I figured I could try this. I'll see how this performs. And I put on a red dot, Komodo heavy muzzle, the lock grip, whatever the fuck, underbarrel, 60 round mag, and is that 5? Oh, and high velocity ammo. That's what I was using. And it felt really solid. Now, again, it could be killing way slower than a better gun that exists. I don't know. Especially with the increase to health. You can't even really check sim yet. The data's not there. Because when the health values change, the time to kill values change of every gun. And one can surpass another. So, like, if there's 100 health total, maybe this AK kills faster than the Lockman. But if there's 125 health, now the Lockman kills faster than the AK. It has to do with how much damage they do, how the damage ranges work, and the fire rate works. So it changes a lot, and I don't know. I don't have a point of comparison once again. But very little recoil. Felt like it was doing solid damage. I was cracking plates pretty quickly, and the time to crack full plates did not change. They changed the base health. They didn't change plate health. So if you start shooting someone full health, and then their plates crack at a time, whatever that time is, that's exactly the same as it was before. And it felt like I was cracking people pretty quick. And in addition, the handling was decent. The ADS isn't like disgusting like an LMG. The strafe speed isn't good at all, but that's not the end of the world for a long range AR. And the reload speed is also really nice too. So you get a nice 60 round mag and a pretty solid reload. Not the fastest, but pretty good. It's not like an MP5 reload, for example. I would encourage you guys to maybe try that, but by the time Saturday comes around, we're going to know what the meta is, and you should probably be using whatever that is instead. But that might be a Lockman 556. It felt quite solid to me. I don't know.
I've been seeing people on Twitter say Cronin is still meta. You know what? I think if anything, the Cronin build I'm using will have to be changed, because I don't run a barrel. I run high velocity instead, and so I have more recoil. But the build everyone runs for ranked play on Moz and everything, they use a barrel instead of high velocity, I'm pretty sure. So they get more recoil control that way, just has slower mobility. Yeah. That might have to be it. That recoil control might make the difference to make it feel a lot better at range for me. Because, yeah, it just didn't feel good so far. But
yeah. I would love to see data, and we'll have it by the time you guys are hearing this, on like what the Cronin post-nerf TTK is on a 300 health opponent versus all the other ARs. Very curious to see. That is surprising that people are saying that, though. But I haven't used the Cronin, so I don't know. So anyway, yeah. Moving on, the map itself. Okay. So
do we want to talk about these negatives first? Because that kind of leads into if the actual map has issues. What do you think? We do it that way?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, let's do that.
Right.
Yeah. What do we got here?
We're gonna start. We're gonna start here. Here, let me do this. Let me take that. Let's put that down under here. Do a little
formatting. So we're doing some formatting for you guys.
Live formatting. Yeah.
Live formatting.
So the map. Yeah. So they seem to just have a formula down at Raven Infinity Ward over there on how to launch maps very poorly, and they read that every time they make a new map, and they say, how do we fuck this up the most amount that we possibly can? And that's what they do. So they open the formula book, they say, should the circles be like kind of in the middle or like way off in a corner? So like 1 POI. And Ted's like, oh yeah, just put it way off in the corner. That's great. And then they're like, well, are you sure that's not going to cause issues? And some other guy's like, yeah, it'll be great. So they made this mistake on Ashika. They made the same mistake on Caldera. They made the same mistake on Launch of Al Mazrah. I don't remember Verdansk, who knows. But they simply know how to launch a map with problems. the same problems that we've had on previous maps. So to start with, I'm almost positive 100 stacks of ammo are back. If not, then there are just a shit ton of 500 stacks of ammo. So this leads to there is less money, and it feels like you can't buy a loadout.
Yeah, it's very tough to buy.
It feels like you can't buy a loadout. So then let's keep moving on, right? So then the circles are all in the corners here, and I can actually pull this up real quick. I got some screenshots
Dude, pull up
in
the
our
floating
notes.
district one, please. Please show them the floating district.
Let me swap to the notes view. Let's do this. So take a little peek. We got 4 of them here. We're going to start with this one. These are 4 in a row, by the way. 4 in a row. This is the zone as soon as we start flying in. Here we go. So out of the 15 named POIs on the map, at the start, before we jump out of the plane, 3 of those named POIs are in the circle. That is the very first circle, 3 of them. So by the time that gets cut down and you're already in circle 2, you're probably working with 2 POIs on a map with 15 large POIs. Okay, maybe it's just a fluke. Let's move on to number 2. Castle University Graveyard, 3 POIs out of 15.
3 once again.
So the first circle, all the way in the bottom left. Look at this shit. All the way in the bottom left. Nothing else is in play. And by the way, of this small circle, 35%, 40% of it is out of bounds. Another 10 to 15% is in water.
Yeah.
Also keep in mind, this map has more players on it. So 72 people are generally landing right in that circle or just outside of it. So you have 15 POIs. 3 of them are in the circle. Maybe 4 of them are in play. And then this is the second zone we had. Castle, dead center. Then we have University and Graveyard. Those are the 3 POIs in the first zone.
Yep.
Next one. Oh, this one wasn't too bad. Central Station. At least we have more actual POIs in it because the POIs are closer together. Far right side of the map. So we have Central Station, City Hall, Mall, Museum, Exhibit, kind of police station in there. Again, though, way off to the side. This one, yeah, 50% of the first circle is outside of the playable map area. Then again, this one down here wasn't actually terrible, the last one. This is what you would consider right now a Vondel default circle. That far off.
That's a Vondel great circle.
That's a good circle on Vondel, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, so what does that mean? Let me zoom out here. These trash, garbage, shit circles means that 72 players are landing in one small corner of the map. It is so chaotic. So all 72 players landing on the corner of that map, your first loadout, the free loadout drop always lands inside of the circle. So what does that mean? Your loadout drop always has 4 other loadouts with it. Everyone is trying to get their loadout. People are on roofs camping the loadouts. It is hot, contested, and they are not possible to grab. We tried this like 2 or 3 times. You will just fight endlessly over your loadout and then just basically never get it.
Especially with the rooftops, like you said.
Yeah.
There's going to be people on rooftops around you. They're going to have great line of sight on you, and they're going to be on the most disgusting head glitch they've ever been on, and you're never going to get your loadout ever.
And the health was increased, and again, all you see is their forehead, so you can't do anything about it. They see your whole body, you just see their forehead. Bullets come out of the barrel of your gun, by the way.
Yeah.
So it is essentially all comes down to the garbage shit circles, which Smile we dealt with on Ashika for what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and we thought the actual map was garbage, but it ended up just being the circles were so bad, and that threw off the flow of the entire map. Ashika, in my opinion, plays great now. The circles are good. There's not water endings very often. So basically, like, if you land inside the first zone, 1, you're not going to be able to get your loadout drop because it's so hot. And then 2, you're not going to be able to find enough money in the zone because there are 70 other players in that same small corner of the map also looting money. You're dying constantly, so you're losing money. You're coming back. You're not able to do contracts. Most wanteds don't exist, which is the best contract in Resurgence to do off rip, so you can't do that. And there's so many small stacks of cash that it's hard to buy a loadout. So essentially, the only way to get a loadout is to land way outside of the zone. Like pretty far outside of the zone, get enough cash,
Nikes on,
buy a loadout, and then immediately sprint in because the gas is already engulfing you. You're surrounded by the gas. You're moving. And that's just the only way. And then Smile, you get to the edge of gas, you're being held by some guy in a roof. Yeah. So It's the same exact issues they launch every map with. They cannot launch a new map in Warzone, no matter the dev studio. They cannot launch a new map in Warzone without drastic mistakes like this. They do it every single fucking time. And I think the culprit is literally just the circles. Because when you think about it, we keep saying, Korean Savage said in his video, I think they're going to be maybe increasing it to more like 100. Hey, if anything, we need 20 less players. But again, it's not the map, it's because of these shit circles. So I think once they fix some circles, we'll get a good gauge at how the map actually plays, because right now, it does not play well whatsoever. Are there too many rooftops? Holy shit, absolutely. But basically, they've made the same mistake again. They don't learn anything ever. They launch maps and with tons of issues, and this is what we're dealing with right now. So I hope this gets fixed really quickly. I don't have much faith that it will. I feel like we'll be dealing with this for a couple weeks, and it basically ruins the whole map, these circles. It just makes it so not fun to play.
I could not agree more. You were the first one to point this out, because every single game, it was just constant, almost comical amounts of action and other people always. Every gunfight had at least 3 parties involved. At every point in the match, and you were like, dude, it's because of these shit circles. And you're absolutely right. I don't think there is a problem with the player count. I think the problem's with the first circles. If the first circle was just like dead center of the map, I think 72 players would probably be solid. It would be spicy. There would be action. That's what you want in Resurgence, though. But when you put it, and by the way, that first screenshot we have, the first circle is just floating district.
I'll pull it back.
It ended floating district, by the way, which we'll get into. This is the worst possible Warzone first circle, period. Including every other Warzone map ever. Probably the worst BR circle that's ever happened, actually. Because floating district is that POI. We'll get into it. I think if they did fix the first circles and never have them be this dog shit again, have them be on playable area, then the player count would probably be high, but not too high. But as it stands now, it's actually hard to evaluate the map.
It's more chaotic than Ashika quads, even though the map is so much bigger.
1,000%. Yeah. Oh, it's so much more chaotic.
The circles.
It's only because of the circles. Yeah. Like you said, you're right. It's fucking insane. So I can barely evaluate the quality of the map because it's actually not playing as intended. Because when they added 72 players rather than 52, surely the reason they did that is because it's a larger map than Ashika Island. But when your first circle is cutting off 80% of the playable area, literally 80% of the playable area, then it's not bigger than Ashika, but there are just 20 more people here. In fact, it's smaller than an Ashika first circle since they fixed them. So our first circle has less playable area than Ashika Island, which is already a healthy amount of players, by the way, but also it has 20 more people on it, and rooftops with the most disgusting head glitches of all time, plus canals. What do you expect? How do you expect it to play? Yeah. Well, because it doesn't.
Play
it
tested,
fucking sucks.
By the way.
It sucks balls. It's awful and not fun. Terrible first circles, and almost every other problem kind of springs from that. Not quite, but a lot of them do. Yeah.
Comes down to them circle
really
things.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And like Tanner said, I share his frustration. Didn't we just do this on Ashika?
They just barely fixed it.
You just barely fixed it, and we just right back to making the same mistakes. Why? Doesn't make any sense.
Because they're not good video game devs, yeah.
They don't play their own game. It's really that simple. So yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we have more to say.
You want to talk about the POIs while we're talking about this?
Yeah. Let's talk about the POIs.
Talk about our favorite POIs and least favorite.
So based on our analysis of the blog post, we talked about what POIs might be fun or good to fight in, what ones might be bad, and then what ones we were just indifferent about. So I'll start by saying Zoo was our favorite POI on paper based on the blog post. I would like to confirm Zoo fucks.
Yeah.
Zoo is a solid POI.
Zoo is great.
Great gunfights, good layout. No, the rooftops are flat, by the way, at Zoo.
Well, you're also not surrounded by rows and rows of other rooftops. That's the biggest thing. There's a rooftop. That's too. The reason we like Zoo so much is because it doesn't fit this map at all. Actually, it feels like it's from another map. Yeah. Yeah, Zoo's great. Flat, long, just wide enough.
Enough cover, but not too crazy.
Yeah.
Enough height, but not too much.
It's a really good POI.
It's well designed for sure, yeah. So we were right about that. And then a lot of them I'm still kind of just indifferent about, but I'll point out some dog shit trash ones. Fire department is a decent POI.
Fire department's pretty good.
Great. Yeah, Jake and Tanner really liked it. I thought it was okay. We didn't get in that many gunfights at fire department though, to be fair. But it wasn't terrible, but it was kind of mid as far as I'm concerned. Castle. Better than I thought it was going to be.
It's fine, yeah.
It's not cancer. Frankly, I expected it to be worse. But unlike Ashika Castle, there aren't a ton of other little buildings like surrounding it in like a concentric circle of just little shit shacks. So it's actually like fairly open. It plays better than Ashika Castle. It's not even similar to Ashika's Castle, really.
Not at all.
Other than in name. So Castle played better than I thought it would, but it's not like an amazing POI or anything. It's fine. University. Don't go there.
Miserable. Really
Awful.
Bad POI.
Trash POI. Trash loot, and the gunfighting there is really awkward and trash also.
There is so much cover, and the thing that was... So what's weird about it? It's basically... You can jump down from like the roof and it's all open like inside. So there's an inside area essentially from the roof down to like the first floor. And between that, there is like 3 floors maybe that you can access. And each of those floors is like open to the middle area. So there's like a little half wall. And then that's so first of all, if you're on the first floor and you're anywhere near the middle, you're just dead because someone above you is going to look down. If you're on the first floor and you're trying to peek someone who's below you, you're dead from the second or third floor. You're on the second floor trying to peek down below you, you're dead from the third floor or the roof. And then it goes on and on. There are a bunch of weird stairwells up, there are elevator shafts up. There's so many ways that they can get behind you. And in a game that doesn't have any audio cues for anything, it doesn't make for a fun place to fight. Not my least favorite. We'll talk about the least favorite, but it is
certainly not my least favorite.
Bad. Avoid University. You don't have to worry about it. The circle's always in the opposite end of the map with 1 POI in. So good thing for you, you'll probably never see University. You may never even get to view it once.
It's in between 2 other POIs, meaning it'll never be in the first circle. So yeah, that's a great point. But if you do happen to find yourself there, get out. Yeah. City Hall. Don't remember it.
I didn't like it, but that's because we were fighting the sweatiest team there, so that probably kind of ruined it. They were insane. So that may be why I had negative opinions on it. It was nothing special. I don't know. It was a building. I didn't like it much.
Central Station. Pretty solid, but you're not going to be... you don't want to fight at Central Station. You want to be on the roof of Central Station shooting at people below you.
Yes.
For that purpose, it's very good. It's in the corner of the map, so you're not going to get flanked from another POI. You have great visibility on a ton of the map because it's a really long building. And
if there's no fog.
There are if there's no fog. There are a lot of ways up, but because again it's such a long building, it's not as much of a problem. It really does remind me a lot of the roof of train station, actually, from Verdansk. It's flat, it's long. There are a lot of ways up, but they're like far away, and there's like some cover around.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid.
Central Station
POI.
was good. We went inside a little bit. Lot going on inside, like with many of the large POIs on this map. There are a bunch of staircases. There's just a lot going on. but the roof is a good spot. Yeah, the POI is fine. It's not bad.
Yeah. Exhibit, we almost never went there.
I don't think I saw
there were
Exhibit
like
now that
never
I think
people
about
there.
it. Yeah. Well, there was never a circle there, probably.
That's probably
There was
true,
the one
actually.
circle that we had where we won on top of Central Station, and we knew to just immediately get into Central Station because that was the dead center of the zone. So yeah, we avoided.
Oh yeah, I was
Exhibit.
fighting at Exhibit a little bit.
Yeah, you
then,
and Jake were like
I
on the
bailed
edge
to
over
Central.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we won. Okay, let's see. Museum.
Fine.
Trying to remember.
Actually, we never really went in museum. We were fighting on the roof of it. This is the game. This is the same game we
Yeah.
won from Central Station. We rushed guys. We went
were
from
at
stadium.
museum.
We rushed guys at museum. We were fighting guys there. They were all on the roofs. We were down low. We had to run away from them. Yeah. You know, one thing with like all of these buildings and rooftops, there's so much clutter on top of them too, which leads to even more cover for people. Like on the west
And
side of
hiding.
museum, yeah. Like on the west side of museum there's like a whole, it's like it's under construction, so there's like scaffolding and shit, and there's rappels. There's just actually too much going on. They really added too much detail to the map, which leads to way too much cover, and like you said, a lot of ratting. And with not very good audio in the game, it's really hard to tell where people are, and then they just come out of nowhere and you're dead. So
Yeah,
museums,
yeah.
probably not good.
I had a number of deaths that I should have heard people and I didn't.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
As did everyone I played with, of course. Yeah, that's standard. Stadium. We didn't really get in a gunfight at Stadium. Most of the time we went Stadium, there was a metric fuck ton of loot and no people. The one time there were people there were 8 teams there.
It was fun to fight there, though.
And it was kind of cool, yeah. But we weren't on the field. We were all like in the stands.
Oh
like,
yeah,
around
I'm
and
never
shit.
getting down on the field. Yeah, a lot of loot
Yeah.
though. Kind of the first time.
So much loot, dude. So much loot. There are so many boxes. Like, yeah, it's a great place to loot, but yeah, and fighting there, I don't know. It might not be as dog shit as I thought it was. I guess the play would just be never get in the field. Yeah, stay off the field. Be a spectator. And then it's probably actually pretty fun. So yeah, maybe Stadium's better than I thought. It certainly treated us well today. Cruise Terminal.
We liked this. It was pretty good.
This had the solar panels on the roof, right?
I think so. I don't remember the roof part of it.
Yeah. Again, a fairly long, flat roof. Most of the POIs I've been on the roof of. I didn't go inside many buildings when you could be on a roof, you know. So that's kind of our perspective. We'll get into.
I mean, just add more balloons and put them on the roofs and put all the buy stations on the roofs, and no one would ever touch the
yeah, you're
ground.
just playing
There'd be
hopscotch.
No reason to.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah, not much to say there. Zoo. The best POI in the game. We already talked about that. Fire department. We already talked about that as well. And graveyard, I guess.
Police station, market. Yeah, we didn't really.
Oh yeah,
they're fine.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Police station's not fine. It's trash. It's a trash POI. It's not good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's not the worst, but it's you know what? As far as Vondel POIs go, it's fine. Yeah, I'll grant you that. Market there is nothing at market. Yeah. The screenshots were not misleading. There just isn't anything there.
There really is nothing, yeah.
The market POI is just like an open courtyard.
Yeah, market should not be a POI. If anything, just to the south where all of those buildings are, that should be called neighborhood or something, and that should be a named POI. It doesn't matter, but market's not much going on there.
Yeah. And then, mall. Mall, I think, is pretty interesting, actually. I kind of like it. Mall and to the west of it. That's a fun little area to fight around. We never fought like in the mall proper, but we fought people coming from the mall or us coming from the mall ourselves. And it was a cute little area. We did get absolutely gapped by some 16-year-olds, which kind of soured us a little bit. But besides that, I think it's actually kind of a solid little area. And then Graveyard, I don't even remember ever being there. Oh yeah, I do. Graveyard is no reason to go there. But if you find yourself there, it's not the worst thing in the world. There's sufficient cover, and there's actually some altitude at Graveyard. Interestingly enough, there's hills and little valleys, so that's a good way to do a graveyard. I think it's not like a fucking Arlington where it's just flat, which is good. You wouldn't want that. So Graveyard's okay. And that leaves one exact POI remaining, Floating District. Now, when we looked at the blog post, we said, oh, this is going to be awful. Don't go here. Guess what? We had to, because the circle ended there, because it's in the corner of the map.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in the Floating District. And guess what? We weren't wrong. I was wrong in that I did not emphatically enough state how bad of a POI this would be, though. Because let me be super clear, this is the worst area in any BR map that's ever existed. Unironically, it's the worst POI between Verdansk, Fortune's Keep, Rebirth Island, and Caldera.
I
and
still don't
Al-Mazrah.
think it's as bad as Castle on Ashika.
Yeah, hard disagree. Giga hard disagree. Castle's really bad on Ashika, though. It's a tough, you know what? That's a tough fight, but I think Floating District wins because there is so much water and you can get underneath all the little catwalks.
You can get underneath all the buildings too. You can swim underneath
and
the floating buildings
themselves.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So there's a whole lake underneath it.
It cannot be overstated how bad of a POI and not fun to fight in this area is. For context, the first screenshot we showed you guys, where the first circle was in Floating District Fire Department only. We were playing quads. We were in Floating District. Of course, that's where the final circle was. So that was where we had to be. And we didn't like it. Regularly getting down to people in the water. Regularly getting people one shot and watching them dive into the water, never to be seen again. By the way, the water visibility, whoever said that in the early access videos they were lying or wrong.
It's technically better, but it's still not at all good.
I guess.
It's
I don't know.
more
It didn't
clear,
seem
but you
better to
still
me. It
can't really
seemed
see through
fucking
it.
awful. Maybe there's more shade in Floating District. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. But you still cannot see people well enough. And even if you can, the bullets still just are, I guess water is just Kevlar also, because they don't go through the water and do damage. And then Jake and I had a really fun experience. We're in the water, sure enough, and we're trying to like rotate to another fucking floating little shack. And I see some guy, and I have my gun, so I'm treading water, hoping to shoot him. I start shooting him. He dives under the water. I now don't see him. And he's because he's right in front of me. And I think probably the shade in this area probably contributes to this, though. But he goes underwater for a foot, disappears. Even if I could see him, wouldn't matter because he wouldn't take damage anyway. So I say, okay, fuck, cool. So I swim down to try and see where he's at. I see him. He's jabbing my ass with a combat knife.
Yeah.
This guy runs combat knife on his loadout because there are no knives as ground loot.
Smartest Warzone 2
So this son of a bitch, this guy has the highest IQ of anyone who's ever played a video game. He's running combat knives and he just fucking shanks me in the liver. One shot kill, by the way. And I'm dead. And I said, oh, that's cool. Jake then dies to the same guy in the same way. Gets fucking garroted. Then I come back. There are like 3 teams left. I'm the last one alive. I have to dive in the water to escape danger. I have some guys like MP5 or some shit. I get in the water. I don't see the 2 people right in front of me before I'm in the water. I should have seen them, but you can't see in the water. So we're like, oh, fuck, there's guys here. So luckily I start treading water. I start shooting one of them. I down him. Oh, this is great. I lost the other guy, though. The other guy went underwater. I wonder what's going on. He emerges from the water like an angel of death, stabs me in the throat. I'm dead. Yeah. Game's over. And we all start laughing.
It was
because they were spectating me.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. Yeah.
It was pretty
And
cool.
I had no chance. There was nothing I could have done.
Know what blows my mind?
So this is the worst POI I think I've ever had the displeasure of playing in Call of Duty, the video game.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is we guessed that this was going to be the worst POI before this game came out when they put the blog post out. Imagine how bad of a video game developer you have to be to take the worst POI on your map and turn that section into a multiplayer map.
Yeah.
Huh?
I can't believe this is the multiplayer map. I agree.
They're
with
just
you
not real
1000%.
people. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I can't believe it. It is so bad. Zoo, stadium, cruise terminal, museum, police station, central station. Actually, like, I think literally every other named POI, I'm not exaggerating, I think every other named POI could be turned into a better multiplayer map, other than maybe Castle. That wouldn't be like a good Sixes map. Every single one would be a better Sixes map than Floating District, and they put that one in as a Sixes map in this game.
Yeah.
They don't know anything. These are the
They
people
don't know
making the game
anything.
you play. They don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
So that's why
miserable.
it is unbelievably terrible, and you have to play
Yeah.
there a lot, unfortunately.
Mhm.
So
It's
just,
really bad.
If
Yeah.
you see that zone, yeah, combat knives are ground
Just
loot.
leave.
Just
I
pick
think
up
you
a
should just
combat
leave.
knight and tread water until the end of the game.
Yeah.
Just
That guy
hang
got
out.
3 kills on our team with a combat knife.
Yeah.
Only because of the water mechanic. Don't put water in BRs, by the way. But yeah, the worst POI. But yeah, a couple other, I guess, map observations outside of the POIs themselves. Outside of the floating district, the water actually was kind of fine. There were a couple times people would dive away from us and survive, which was somewhat annoying.
Yeah, they still
But-
just disappear.
And they still just disappear, of course. But like I had said on our last episode, I think the layout of the map does make the canals less relevant. And really my only like big gripes with water were in floating district. Now, unfortunately, we had to be there a lot today because that's how the circles were just pulling. But I think the water wouldn't be as big of an issue if the zone was not at floating district in that area, which is good. I'm pleased to report that. It's still dog shit and annoying and take water out of BRs, but it's not the end of the world outside of floating district. What is the end of the world and what we underestimated, I think, is the rooftops are far more powerful than we thought they were going to be.
The rooftops are a bigger issue in general than the water.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
You can't cross any street ever. Even if you have smoke, it's very dangerous. Because there are so many rooftops that are so close together that if you're trying to rotate anywhere and not on a rooftop yourself, someone's gonna see you from multiple different angles, and it makes moving around this map very challenging. Too challenging. Impossible, some might say. You really can't move around this map unless you're rooftop hopping like Spider-Man. I did not expect that. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And this is one thing, again, that would be helped if the first circles were better, because there wouldn't be so many people on the rooftops directly around you, but it wouldn't be solved by that. And then another problem is on top of the number of buildings and rooftops always around you if you're on the ground, the disgusting angles of these rooftops are another problem. If there's only one team on a rooftop stopping my cross, that's already too many, because you can't rip them off. Especially the longer TTK, you're never ripping someone off of a head glitch now. With how disgusting these head glitches are on this map. Far too many really nasty, disgusting head glitches, where it's basically like, if you're the one that has it, you auto win gunfights, or at least you're not dying. And if you're not the one who has it, you're definitely dead. And even if by some miracle you bypass Ricochet and you do take someone off a head glitch, you're not getting a down. They're on a nasty head glitch. They fall into cover res, easy. So it's a real issue. Too many rooftops. And it kind of reminds me of a lot of POIs in Verdansk, which is why I kind of fucking hated Verdansk for a lot of reasons in a lot of areas. Too many buildings too close together.
Yeah.
So
this has like, I thought there would be more of like the steep roofs that you can't access. There are not. There are actually very few of those.
There are not very many.
Almost every roof you can get on. And also those steep ones, most of them you can also like, well, not, maybe not most of them, but a lot of them you can also mantle over that. Cause like next to that, there will be like concrete steps essentially that you can keep mantling on and then get over that side. So if like you think you're safe and there's a team on the other side, you're not, because there's a good chance they can just climb over that, or there are jump spots to get over. So they can't stand on the roof directly, but they can hop over it. So yeah, it's the roofs are a massive, massive issue. And unfortunately with that, there's no way to fix that. You don't.
Yeah, that can't be fixed.
Make another map, yeah.
Yeah.
So that will never change. Roofs will always be an issue, I would imagine. Probably actually only gets worse too as it goes on, because people are just going to learn like, oh, you just stay on a roof. Like people have already figured out it's common sense, but there will be like no one on the ground pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, you have to play on a roof, and it can be fun fighting rooftop to rooftop. Don't get me wrong.
It can
like
be.
There can be good engagements, but you make this whole map and it's like the floor is lava.
Makes it hard to regain too, because it's like, how do you land back and like
Very
try to
hard
loot
to
and regain
regain.
when everyone on the map sees you landing in and they're on a roof and they're just on top of you with their loadout gun shooting you?
That's
basically
true too.
Can't regain. Like if we would get destroyed and like have no money, there was no coming back from it. You're just gonna continue to try to land, get your loadout that's inaccessible, and then just die.
Yeah. Yeah, far more instances of free loadies that you just can't get safely than on a Sheikah or Maz. By orders of magnitude. I would say like 60 to 65% of the free loadouts, there was no time where you could get it or you would die, because they usually drop on the ground. And especially with these first circles, there's so many fucking people around that are on rooftops. There's no angle you can approach that loadout at without getting killed. And a smoke grenade just doesn't last long enough to get you there, pick up the loadout, and get back out. So, yeah, not good. Not good. So, anyway. A couple other things here. Yeah, like Tanner has already mentioned, bugs that were supposedly fixed, or were in actuality fixed, that they just decided to bring back. The FOV bug is still in. I don't know if that ever went away, but
No.
you set your FOV to 120 and the game says no thanks. You're going to have a 60 FOV instead.
Luckily it fixes it
cool.
when you die, so Resurgence, it's an easy fix. But like if that happens on Ranked or in Moz, you're just screwed until the game's over, basically. Or if you have to die and then your teammates buy you back, it's
which is really dog shit, of course.
Not auto picking up ammo still. Again, I had like 60 total AR bullets. I'm running over the AR stack. I'm looking at it, testing it. It just doesn't work. Have to look at it, pick it up. That hasn't worked since the game launched. Something they changed last season. That was a great quality of life fix, by the way. They made it so if your teammate is like editing a weapon class and tuning, you can queue, you can pull in and out of menus. It wouldn't affect them. Guess what? That's all been reverted. So
it's all back. Yeah.
Cope's trying to tune his gun. See ya. Start queuing for the match. It pulls him out. And like I said, I think the 100 cash stacks are back. Maybe it's just 500s and there's a ton of them, but I swear some of them are 100 stacks. I don't know. You guys can let me know if you noticed that. I'll pay attention more next time I played. Yeah, and it's just like, again, so maybe they didn't talk about any like bug fixes for like a Sheikah, for example, but a Sheikah, the UAVs have not worked in months. You and your squad mate will literally get different UAV pings. This happened last time you and I played with Jake that one time.
Oh, yeah.
That has not worked, and that has been a known issue. All the Ashika players constantly talk about this. They're like, are we just ever going to get this fixed? It's nowhere in the patch notes. So did they fix it? I don't know. Maybe there will be another set of... Maybe they're making small changes to Ashika, because they did specifically say, like, don't worry, Ashika will be back, and it's coming back next week. So maybe there's going to be, like, another small patch with that, and they'll mention fixes they did for that. It's like, that shit doesn't work. You'll still... If I play Ashika, say, for like 4 or 5 hours in a row, usually one time in that session, I will get downed, but I just full die immediately. Like, beginning of the game, self-res, you get knocked and you're immediately dead and you're waiting the resurgence timer again. That's been a bug forever. Like, that's not on the patch notes. They just don't, I feel like they never fix any of the actual issues. And you read through the bug fix issues and you're like, what the hell is this bug? I don't even know what this is. And it's some like weird menu UI bug. Yeah, it's like they only fix the bugs that are easy to fix and all the other ones they just leave in, which means the game just doesn't ever get less buggy because they don't fix the difficult ones. FOV bug we've been dealing with since in Warzone 1 we've been dealing with that. Auto picking up ammo has been a huge issue since this game launched, since Warzone 2 launched. So just frustrating seeing that shit still in the game and it not be fixed. And the quality of life changes this update were, I would not consider almost any of them actual quality of life updates. Not like what we got in Caldera. Like when I think of quality of life update, I think of something like how in Caldera they changed it. Yeah, they changed it so I see how many plates my teammate has, if they have a satchel, if they have a gas mask, what streaks they're holding, our total price, our total cash value. How easy is it for them to add that in? Why do we not have a total squad cash still? It's a number. Just fucking make space for it and put it there so we don't have to look and count. It's so easy. And just still, now season 4, why do we not... Like, I honestly, like, really expected stuff like that to come with this season. I'm like, oh, we're trying to get a lot of quality life changes. No. We get changes like you get an extra stack of ammo now. I don't know. It's just dumb.
Yeah, Infinity Ward's just a terrible dev studio. It's a couple other little miscellaneous kind of points to point out. As I already said, the fog is not very rare, or whatever they wrote.
It's not rare at all. It happens like every
quite
game.
Common. Yeah, it's quite common. We're back to the old loot pool where there's a kill streak in every chest.
Yep. Really?
No
That's also
counter
making the
UAVs.
map worse, actually, by the way. If anywhere you go, you're getting 3 streaks called on you. So that's another factor that's playing into why it feels a lot worse than the map probably actually is. Yeah,
for sure. Way too many streaks. You did point this out. No counter UAVs. True.
You can buy them because
I
I bought one at one point, but you can't find them in ground loot.
Why? Yeah.
It's just bugged, by the way, I'm sure. Don't worry, there will be 10 of them in every chest.
Yeah.
Days.
But it's nice playing without counter UAVs. Now that you pointed out, I remember. The tempered armor vest is just not on Vondel.
That doesn't exist, yeah.
Missing most wanted contract, as Tanner already pointed out. Not enough balloons still. This is especially true on this map. If
this
any map
really
needs balloons, it is Vondel. Because
like more
if you're
than
not
Moz,
on a rooftop, you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
And to
more
counter
than
all the
Moz.
rooftop, because if you have more balloons, that's going to balance it out. Because people on roofs will constantly get landed on by other people, and then they'll start to think different. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be on roofs constantly because I'm going to get landed on. It would change the whole flow of it. It needs minimum double the amount of balloons. Probably more than that. Probably 3 times the amount of balloons. Not nearly enough. I mean, we were at Stadium, and I was looking around one time. The closest balloon, like, Cruise Terminal didn't have one. Zoo didn't have one. Like, none of the POIs next to us had one. So it's like, okay, there's like one over at the fire department. I don't know how many there are in the map. I didn't really pay attention, but I tell you, it's not nearly enough.
They need to be usable while they move, too.
Yeah. Oh, this map does seem to have static buy stations. Not confirmed. They didn't say that, but it appeared the buy stations every time were in the same exact spot.
There were enough buys, and they were in sensible
Like every
locations,
POI had 1 to 2 buys. Like Zoo always had the one in the same spot.
Zoo always had that one.
Floating
I think they are static.
Yeah, Floating District always had that one. Castle always had that other one. So I'm pretty sure they're static, which is good. And it seems like there are enough, yeah.
Yeah, so. Overall thoughts on the map and Season 4 in general?
I'm a little disappointed because I was just expecting the map to be fun and like nothing else. And it's just not fun so far. So for me, this season right now is actually just worse than the game was yesterday.
Because you can't play a Sheik,
I can't play a Sheikah, yeah. So I'm glad I'm going on vacation for sure and never take a Sheikah out again. I'm excited to give it more tries. Hopefully when they fix the circle and whatnot and play it solo random fill, I think I'll like it a lot better with shit lobbies. But I don't know. Time to kill, the 50 extra health, I don't like it so far. Not fun. And yeah, the map just doesn't play well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks
So,
great, really cool to run around.
It is
plays
pretty looking.
terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, like Tanner said at the outset, our opinions are subject to change, of course. And also keep in mind, they're going to change the map itself, how it works. They're going to be adding some shit like the taxi things. Yeah. I don't think that's going to be profoundly game breaking or anything, but it'll be something. But in addition, again, I think a lot of the frustration we've had stems from these miserable first circles. And I feel like I can't even give it a fair evaluation until they fix the first circles. They need to be in more playable area. It's that simple. So once they do that, I'm very much looking forward to trying again. But there are some intractable problems that will not ever be changed. Floating district will never be a good POI. It'll always be dog shit if you have to fight there. The rooftops are always going to be disgusting head glitches. They're not going to change. They're not going to actually make bullets come out of the barrel of your gun, for example. They're going to still come out of your forehead. And that's what makes head glitching so good, because you don't have to show as much of your body. So that's like never going to change. Even if they fix the circles, if they whatever did anything, that wouldn't matter. So my overall impression is that even after they fix the first circles, I think that's going to help this map a lot. I still don't think it's going to be a very good map. I think there's too many rooftops too close together, and the ground is just lava, and it always will be. And that's not fun, because like Tanner said too, regaining is very difficult. And that's the whole point of Resurgence. Should regaining be hard in ranked Warzone? Yeah, probably. Get fucked. Don't die. But on Resurgence, it's like a goofy game mode, where I should be able to like get my loadout again pretty easily, and it's not possible on Vondel.
It feels more like VR. It doesn't really feel like you're playing Resurgence, actually.
Yeah, a lot of times it doesn't.
So
a lot of times it doesn't,
which is fine. It's kind of a middle ground, but if we're gonna do that, I get it's the first week, but hopefully Ashika never stays out permanently. They need to always have at least 1 or 2 squad sizes for that map as well.
Yeah.
I think you'll please most people.
Yeah. So the other season 4 changes, I'm kind of agnostic on most of them in terms of my opinion. The health change, I don't think my opinion is going to change much on it, but it could. I'm open to that. There was no weapon balancing really. And then just, very small minor changes that aren't going to really impact very much outside of the new content. So once they fix the first circles, I'm very eager to try Vondel again, but I do not expect to have a very high impression of it. In other words, I find it very unlikely I'm ever going to prefer Vondel over Ashika, and that's what's disappointing.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. I prefer, as of right now, Ashika a lot more than this map.
Yeah. And I just don't think that's going to change, even if they change the player count, fix first circles, whatever. I think just the way the map is designed, too many buildings too close together with too good of rooftops. I think it's kind of that, and that's it.
And it just doesn't fit well with the health increase either, I don't think. I actually may like the map so much more if I still had my meta Insane Cronin and can rip people off these headies. But since you can't do that either, it just makes the rooftops so strong. So, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. So we'll keep you guys posted. So that's it for this episode. Overall impressions are, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, not as good as I thought they were going to be. And my expectations weren't very high. So that's kind of sucks. But, we're open to, we will definitely be trying it a lot more again. And when they fix that first circle, maybe it's going to solve a lot more issues than I think it will. So reminder, no Thursday pod next week. We will be back next Saturday in 1 week from today. After that, we will be back to our regularly scheduled programming. In the meantime, there is a new Patreon episode that came out yesterday, the Vondel Brainstorm, where Tanner and I talk about things we could do differently on this map than Ashika, for example. I think there's actually a lot to say there now. After having played it, I think there are significant, substantial differences between how you would want to play Vondel versus Ashika. So I'm very curious to explore those in that Patreon episode. And again, by the time you're hearing this, that episode is now live. So patreon.com/thedropshot. For the month of June, we have free trials. So you can listen to that brainstorm episode and anything else for free. Patreon.com/thedropshot. 7-day free trials for the month of June only. So get in on that while it lasts. And last but not least, Damascus Hangout will be on Friday, the 23rd, 6 p.m. Pacific time. This will be our last episode before that hangout, and then we will see you next week. The week after that, we are back on our solid footing schedule, and I'm very excited about it. Thank you for watching and listening. We love you guys. Stay humble.
Samuel.